Good morning everyone and welcome back to my Facebook live stream, and my name is Cheng. I'm a professional photographer, filmmaker and an Olympus ambassador. And so if you're new to here, this stream is all about photography, filmmaking and any news about Michael Foster and of course Olympus. Right, okay, welcome back to a lot of you, and excellent stuff. Excellent. So always so excited to see, like, all of my regulars coming back here and talk about nothing but happy photography, right? Okay, I do have some exciting news, of course. As you can see my post already about Olympus. Right, just over a week ago, you may have seen that, well, I don't know if you are an Olympus user or not, but there was a shocking news came out, of course, that caused a lot of disappointment, anger, and so, over the last week, everyone was kind of thinking, what's going to happen with Olympus? What is going to happen to my gear? So there were a lot of questions there, and of course, I can't answer everything. I don't represent Olympus to that kind of extent. I'm an ambassador. I do represent them in the public, but then it's not to to tell you what the corporate is going to do and things like that. But like I said, they now have a new mothership. They have a new parent company, GIP. So hopefully this is the first step in the right direction. But it is exciting because I have seen the roadmaps. You might have heard that I was talking about it just a little bit yesterday in my live stream on YouTube. For those who didn't quite catch it, and but here I am. I'm going to talk about today because it's here. It's public, so everyone has seen the roadmap, and it's certainly very exciting. There are a few lenses that have been updated in the roadmap itself, and there are also some consolidation in the actual product line. So which is very exciting. So I'm going to talk about it as well. But not only just lenses. Not only that, and there are other things which I'm going to talk about that as well. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting, definitely. Oh, wow, Ian is here as well. Okay, let's say hi to some people first. Good morning, Stuart from Ottawa, Canada. Wow, yes, I've been there a couple of times. Beautiful place. Mark, Trevor, Burana, Robin, Remco, Hart, Ian, of course, and hello. Tanjiga. Okay, great stuff. Right, without further ado, let me start it. But before I continue, just brief you that I know some of you guys may have something to do, and I do have another live stream on my YouTube channel, which I know that a lot of my followers on YouTube is not actually in Facebook or follow me on Facebook. So I'm going to do 2 streams today, talk about exact same thing, but I may extend a little bit because on the Facebook stream I usually try to restrict myself kind of within half an hour to 40 minutes, and then because I have to deal with the kids, as you know, the lockdown stuff, and the kids is here full time. It's really kind of challenging to manage everything, the family lives and professional stuff as well. So here I am. Okay, let's get it started because it's actually very exciting. I'm excited. I'm animated now. So first of all, this is the roadmap that we all have seen already. If not, there you go. This is the roadmap, and it's to me, there are a couple of things that I noticed straight away. Is that there is no longer a premium line. Right, you see that on the left there, they now consolidated the normal M Zuiko and the M Zuiko Premium into just M Zuiko. So there's no longer a badge for premium. In fact, that premium word never existed on the lens itself. It doesn't really say premium on the lens. It just says M Zuiko. So it kind of makes sense actually. But now they group everything together, and so it's now just M Zuiko, no more premium. class, so to speak, but they're keeping the Pro line, and then also you can see that in the orange bit, the orange bit means that it's new things coming out, so or forthcoming product. You can see that they are concentrating on the Pro line products, which is actually very exciting because you know what, the premium lines, or now the more like a consumer level lenses, they are pretty much covered, and they're very good for that, for for a number of years. And instead of like developing new consumer lenses, they're now focusing on the Pro market, and that's exciting. That's exciting for a lot of people who are pursuing high quality glass in a high quality, high performance lenses. And now you have it. You now have a lot of stuff going on there, and I'm super excited. And first of all, let's talk a little bit about the two new updated badge here. First of all, you can probably see that there's a new 8 to 25 f4 Pro. Well, this is something I already talked about previously, and when they launched the 12 to 45 f4 Pro, saying that they are going to build a Trinity. Basically, it's the same, covering almost the same focal length as the 2.8 equivalents, because they already have the 7 to 14 f2.8, they have the 12 to 40 2.8, and they had also the 40 to 150 2.8 Pro lenses, right? So now they had already announced it, so already released the 12 to 45 f4 Pro, and now they have the wider end, which is the 8 to 25 f4 Pro, right? Okay. Then, of course, obviously, you can see the other on the other side of that is the tele zoom lens, which kind of on the same level as the f4 Pro. So that also signifies it's going to be a tele zoom with the f4 constant apertures coming up in the near future, and that's exciting because now they will complete the whole f4 Trinity. Purely aiming for people who favor portabilities and lightweight over the actual aperture, because not everybody really needed the 2.8, and I know you may argue that that you need the constant f2.8 aperture for flexibility in lighting situations and so forth. However, there are definitely photographers out there, especially landscape and travel photographers, they don't really need the 2.8. A lot of the cases, they really want to get everything in focus. So, like landscape, the sheer f8, they even photo stack them. So in that case, these sort of lenses are really perfect for them. They are weather sealed, they are super lightweight. That means you can carry the whole Trinity at almost 30% less weight compared to the 2.8 equivalent. That 30% weight saving doesn't seem a lot, but if you're tracking like 25 miles a day, going up mountain valleys and things like that, these 30% weight saving could be very, very critical. You can carry another bottle of water, for instance. You can carry extra food. These are something that people may not really appreciate until you are actually in that particular situation. However, it's up to people who decide whether they will need it or not. But for me, this is very exciting. Now let's come back to this. So the 8 to 25 f4 Pro is, to me, it's actually something that excites me the most, and in fact something that I'm really looking forward to ever since the Olympus announced the 12 to 45 f4 Pro, because I was waiting for the ultra wide angle zoom version of the 2.8 brother, which I have it right here. So this is the 7 to 14 2.8, which I totally love because it's sharp, it's really sharp, it's really great for what it does. But there is a problem with this lens, which I also highlighted in my YouTube review. And if you haven't seen that one, my YouTube channel link is in the description, so you can click on it and have a look at that particular thing. This thing is heavy, right? I'm not joking. Yeah, I don't know why it's so heavy. This thing is okay. Compared to, let's say, a full frame equivalent, this is still light. But when you slap on this lens on a, let's say, an EM5 Mark III, which I have right here, and immediately you notice a problem here, which is the size is big for a slim body like the EM5, and also the Pan F or EPL series for that matter. It looks okay on the EM1 series, but on the EM5 Mark III and anything similar to this body size is definitely big, and also very, very front heavy. So I have to constantly adjust my wrist to compensate the actual front elements of this thing. It's just really, really bulky, especially if I want to use this lens for vlogging, for instance. And it's very tiring, these things. You're constantly holding like this with the let's say with the Gorilla Pod or any other tripod thing that you want to hold on for vlogging. This thing will just keep on tilting down. You have to keep compensating it. It's really hard work to do that sort of thing. So this 8 to 25 could be the solution. And being f4, I don't mind being f4 because when you do vlog, it's a video thing, so you need to stop down the lens anyway to reduce the light into the center, just to get a little bit more cinematic movements there. And so it's all good for me actually. And being lighter weight, and hopefully it will be a lot lighter than 2.8 version. That would be something to scream about for, especially for a lot of vloggers out there. And secondly, this bulging element here, and also this built-in hood that on the 7-14 2.8 Pro, the F4 version should not have that, and that would mean that for people who have been complaining about this, and also the weight and size issue, that could be the next best thing that you can get on the Olympus. I know a lot of you guys still use the 9-18 ultra-wide zoom from the original Enzuiko line, but that lens has been quite old. And frankly, that lens probably designed for 16 megapixel, 12 to 16 megapixels. So in the 20 megapixel sensor, it's probably starting to show a little bit of softness there. So hopefully this 8 to 25 F4 Pro will completely blow your mind out in terms of sharpness, performances, colors, and renditions. This should be something to be excited about. So that is what I think is awesome. But let's go back to the roadmap, because that's another thing that I want to talk about, is that you see the updated thing on the right there says macro lens, right? It's highlighting between the kind of around about 100 millimeters focal length. This is another big thing here, because that wasn't there before, and this is actually new to me, but not new to me at the same time, because I have seen and used the Canon equivalent when I was still a Canon boy back then. And I'm talking about this particular lens here, right? You guys may have seen this. This is the famous, very famous Canon 180mm 3.5 L lens. It's very niche, and not many people actually use this lens because it's really purely designed for the hardcore macro photographers. Like I said, I don't shoot macro, but I've used this lens. I have a friend who actually swear about this lens because he does all these bug photos and stuff like that, and it's really beautiful. You can see that this is what Olympus is doing. This round about 100 millimeter focal length is obviously 2 times crop factor, could be between 180 to 210 millimeters macro. We don't know the aperture size yet. It could be 2.8, it could be 3.5. Because of the size of the micro four thirds lens, that means they can possibly afford to use a 2.8 aperture, still going to be smaller and lighter than this particular lens. If you look at the weight itself, this thing, including tripod collar, is going to be 1.17 kilograms, so it's not light by any means. I have held this thing, is actually very, very heavy. And so if you kind of base on this is basically what you are going to get in the Olympus world. Just going to be smaller. It's going to be a pro lens, like you already see in the roadmap. It's going to be pro lens. That means it's going to be fully metal, fully weather sealed. Have the manual clutch. You have the focus limiter, very similar to the 60 macro lens. I'm not entirely sure whether they're going to have the very cool sliding hood like they have on the 60. I would like to see that, because we have it on the 40 to 150, right? I do love that thing, even though it's a little bit fragile, but I just like that mechanism. It's actually pretty cool there. So this is what we're going to expect for the newly announced long tele macro lens. The reason people like these sort of lenses is because they can get even closer to the subject, and which is actually fabulous. So that people who are used to use the extension tubes on the 60 and the 30, now you have a better option. It's a built-in thing. You can still use extension if you really want. It's going to be bringing it even closer. So imagine the power you have for macro photography. This is something that would definitely excite a lot of macro photographers, product photographers, and people who just like to shoot close up in general. So this is really exciting. Obviously, no pricing issues, information available at the moment, so I'm not entirely sure. This is new to me, so I'm excited. But let's look a little bit about price as well. This is the price currently for the Canon lens. This is the street price in the UK, around about $12.50 for this particular lens. So if Olympus is going to announce a tele macro lens, it will be slightly cheaper, but I don't know how much cheaper that is depending on the aperture size, because it could be a very unique lens, and because it's a pro lens, it's going to be different as well. They have to look at things a little bit different, because I know there are a lot of professional macro photographers now using micro four third, because it's definitely more portable. You can take it to location to do macro stuff, just like our fabulous Gerald, who's the macro ambassador in the UK. He handheld everything for his macro stuff, which is amazing. I don't know how he does it. When I do macro, I always put it on a tripod, and but yeah, he does it handheld, which does a fabulous job there. So this could be something that he will be super excited, and I'm definitely that he's going to use this lens for his future works for sure. So this is something that I'm really excited about. So let's get this out of the way, because I'm not a macro photographer, but I will review this lens as soon as I get a copy of it in the future, and I hope that it's not going to be too long. Let's go back a little bit again, once again to the roadmap again. All right, and obviously the other thing that has already been announced but haven't seen yet, or I mean you've seen a picture but you haven't know when it's going to come out, is obviously the famous white beast. That's how I'm going to call it now. The Olympus 150 to 400 4.5 Pro lens with a built-in teleconverters, 1.25 times. So this thing is something to be proud of for Olympus. This thing is obviously, it's a testament to Olympus optical engineering, and this is going to be something that I personally would want to get. Not that I'm a super tele guy, I don't really shoot wildlife as such, but I think if I just coming from a passionate photographer who admire and also appreciate optical designs, and maybe a little bit of collector kind of thing as well. But I do genuinely want to get this lens. I know it's going to be rare lens, because the production number is going to be very low. So it's these things, if you get hold of one, the value should keep it fairly well. It's a very special lens, very niche lens. Not many people are going to use it because it's not. First of all, it's not cheap. Second, it's not going to be small. This thing is big. The reason I said it's not small, let's have a look at this photo here. Together with the EM1X, and you can really see that this thing is definitely on the large size, but considering the focal length, this is 150 to 400 at 5.6, so equivalent of 300 to 800 millimeters in full frame focal length. It's going to be big, but definitely a lot smaller compared to an 800 millimeter lens in the Canon or Nikon world, and also definitely a lot cheaper than them as well. That's what I'm very excited about. And previously, with when I was still a Canon boy, I always looked up to these big lenses, and I always dreamed about thinking, maybe one day I could afford to get that 800 millimeters lens, but I may have to sell one of my kidneys to get that, and that may not be a very good thing. But it's just something to to look up to. Say, oh man, this big lens is just cool. When you see all this wildlife photographer, sports photographer using the stadium, you just have this big massive thing. I know you sometimes you have the geeky elements coming up from your brain and just think, I want that. I just want that. It may be useless for me, but like you just want to grab hold of it. So this is now something maybe that will finally satisfy that sort of craziness in my head. Like once I have that lens, I know that, oh, I finally have an 800 millimeter lens in my collection. So that will be it. And if that comes out very soon in the winter, that's what they call it, in the winter, that would be something to be excited about as well, especially myself. And I would be quite happy to grab hold of this lens and hug it to bed, and then sleep with it for about a week. But anyway, so this particular lens here originally scheduled for a summer release, because it's the supposed to be the Olympic lens, and that's true. Now, they've been touting about it since last year TPS. They're talking about it a lot. They show a lot of teaser pictures. That there was also a leaked video that's been already deleted on YouTube. Someone has using it, and then obviously probably one of the test photographer in Japan. So like, I didn't see it, so obviously I haven't touched this then, haven't seen it. I've seen the prototype and that's it. But now it's here, and now they're confirming there's going to be a winter release. So wouldn't that be great to be a Christmas present for me? And so that would be something, right? I'm excited. I'm super excited. So like, I know that last week was quite shocking, but this particular news here is making me smile, and I'm really happy about it. Although that. Being an ambassador, I do know something that you guys may not know about it before the general public release, and it's really heartbreaking for me that I can't tell you that, because even though I know something and I can't say it, and it's really hard, and it's tough. It's tough. I know that you guys really care about Olympus, and I know you guys are supporting me as well. And but when it comes to that sort of information, and it's very sensitive. And of course, I signed the NDA with Olympus. Everything's under embargo. I cannot really mention anything at all. But lucky that it's here now and can publicly talk about it, and that's really happy. So talking about this though, there's another few developments that I really want to share with you guys as well. And it's first of all, it's no more pictures now, because the next few thing is going to be just purely software related. First is the firmware update for the EM1X, and yes, finally we have a firmware update for EM1X, which is the one I'm using now for streaming. So this this camera that is facing me, recording me doing stream at the moment, is the EM1X camera, and I've been using this camera for all my professional work, whether it's going to be video or photos, is down to this particular camera here. And I am in love with this thing, even though it's big, but it's rugged. It's just a workhorse. This thing is a pure workhorse, full stop. Now it has the new AI tracking profile. Yay! It's at least one. That I know that from the announcement is the bird tracking. So isn't that good now? I know there were a few people asked me in the last week, there were about 4 or 5 people actually emailed me asking me, I want to get into bird in flight, BIF photos using Olympus, because they are actually using Canon and Nikon at the moment. They want to switch to Olympus. Of course, they were a little bit concerned about the news last week, and I just told them, look, the gears won't disappear, suddenly like this. If this is what you want, and if you want to save a few bucks, and cameras and lenses are definitely capable, but more importantly, now this update would definitely possibly tempt them, and to cross the line and come over to Olympus world, because now they have bird in flight tracking. And this is exciting for those people who love to photograph birds in the air, and now it will recognize the bird automatically and track them regardless where they are in the frame, and that's cool. That's really cool. I don't shoot a lot of birds. When occasionally I dabble in it because I see some nice birds or parrots flying right in parks. I do try to do that, but because of my skill set for bird in flight photos just isn't that great yet, so I always fail on them. But now could be a potential tool for me to try out, and maybe I'll get some better shots. You never know. So this is something really to be excited about. Mark actually just saying that I can track pigeons now. Right, for those who don't know me well enough, I love pigeons. As you know that we have a lot of pigeons in London. So every time I go out to do my YouTube videos and do some live stuff, and I don't know why, I just like them. I go around tracking pigeons, and now I have a tool that will allow me to photograph them properly. Maybe I should publish a book about London pigeons. How's that? That may be something to for you guys to buy as a souvenir. Okay, but anyway, that is really cool, right? And I think that finally we're seeing some major update on the AI deep learning subject tracking on the EM1X, because it's been kind of stay very quiet since its launch. The EM1X is a fabulous camera. It's really, really underrated cameras that people kind of, I wouldn't say hate, but dislike because of the size and of course the money as well as the cost. But to me, as a professional, as a working professional who use cameras to make money, the EM1X is actually a very good option for me. Especially I travel a lot to different really hostile environments. It could be very dusty, temperature fluctuates, raining heavily. This thing, I mean, it's the first camera ever that I have that confidence to use in that sort of environment without having to worry about even the dust getting into the sensor, because that sonic thing that keep shaky sensor thing, I keep forgetting the bloody name, and then so it will kind of shake out all the dust and moistures from the sensor. So, I mean, I'm happy about it. I mean, I've been using this in heavy rains almost a lot. As you know, we have quite wet weather in London for during the winter months. So this is really a good camera for me. So now they finally paying some attentions back to the EM1X, and which I had been waiting for the last 6 months, to be honest. And I was hoping they would announce a new firmware when the EM1 Mark III came out, but that didn't happen. And then a few months later, it still didn't happen. But now they have. They said that there's going to be a new firmware for that. So I'm super excited. And finally, there's one more news about software development from Olympus, is that you are going to have a webcam capabilities. Yeah! Only if you are a streamer like myself at the moment, and so that you can allow your HDMI video output capable cameras to use your camera as a webcam. But at this moment in time, it's a beta software and it only works in Windows OS, so it doesn't work for Mac. So unfortunately, I can't test it because I use a Mac. So, but you know what? This is something that I have been in communication with Olympus the last 2 months, talking about these things, and because they know that I'm streaming a lot, they know that I do a lot of this stuff. So I've been in touch with them, and so I am finally seeing this announcement. It's really good stuff, and I'm hoping that finally they're going to release a Mac version, so I'll be fully testing it and I'll let you know how it goes. That means you won't need some of these things, and this is the capture card. Something happened. Oh, I think it's my connection there. What happened there? I think it's the connection, but never mind. No data link, no, and but it's good, and that means that you can utilize multicams. I mean, I do have the cam links, and the cam link is still useful for other things, especially if you have the wireless transmitter that I showcased you know, in the last few streams, you know, these things. So you can still use cam link in this. That means you can do wireless streaming if you want to step away from your desk. So it's still a very useful tool. If you get one, don't worry about it. You know, it's still a very useful thing, and more importantly, software, you know, streaming is different to actual hardware encoding. So like, I'm suspect that you probably need a fairly powerful computer to drive the driver. So you just have to stay tuned for the development there. I know the P4 Scout already said that he's going to test it. He might have a Windows computer lying around, so he was going to do a test on that. I'm not going to do one because I have nothing to test on. So I'm going to wait to see as well. It's going to be fun. I know that Olympus UK already told me about that. You know, they're going to test it. So it's going to be an exciting development, because streaming is getting big. You know, whether you like it or not, whether you use it or not, it's getting bigger and bigger. And you can see that many more people, including myself, are doing more streaming now. And this is something that I think, for the first time, Olympus is acting proactively and trying to catch on with the trend. And that is something quite different. You know, quite refreshing to see that they act so quickly. And as you know, nowadays you have Canon's already released a software that will allow them to do streaming using the camera, USB-C enabled cameras, and then Fujifilm and also Panasonic are both also releasing software for doing streaming. And now Olympus. We are not the last. We're not the last, and Sony still haven't got one. And well, okay, that's just fun thing, you know, and it's just development, to be honest. But the compatibility for that particular software, like I said, you have to have a camera that has HDMI video out, clean output. Yes, that means it's only the EM1X series, so EM1 series. So it'll be EM1X, EM1 Mark III, EM1 Mark II, and also the EM5 Mark III. I'm not sure about the EM5 Mark II, because I think it's also the processor related as well. So so these are the listed cameras that are compatible with the software. So you can use these latest cameras to as a webcam. So if you really want to, exciting. I'm excited. You know, like suddenly there's about like half a dozen news coming out from Olympus, and it makes the day suddenly all the way brighter. Cool. Right. Okay. Let's have a few chat about some of you guys on some of the comments that I've seen already. And let's see. Romain from France. Hello. Bonjour. And okay. Hart said, "Don't care. After Pen App, I'll pick up the 40 to 152.8. Snatch all the deals." There are deals, especially if you're in America. There's a crazy deals going on, yeah. I'm not entirely sure. If you haven't seen the American deals yet, we can't get it in the UK, of course. If you buy all the Pro lenses, the 40 to 150, the 300, and I can't remember the other 3 lenses. Yeah, if you get all 3 lenses, they will give you the EM1X, like give you the EM1X. Why don't we have that deal in the UK? That's crazy deal. That is crazy deal, and. Okay, let's see then. Roman is saying that Olympus lens Lenses are the best. I tried all the other brands. Olympus have the color, contrast, and quality. Fantastic Olympus lenses. Well, and I too use many other lenses before. Like I said, I came from Canon. I mean, I like a guy, so I use the ultra expensive Leica lenses, Zeiss lenses, and some Canon, some Nikon lenses. So like, Olympus is definitely different in many ways. The rendering is definitely very organic, and which I personally prefer. And I know some people would argue that they prefer the kind of more modern clinical sharpness look. You know, is the thing that they pop basically. But I like it more gentle. I like it more organic in the rendering side of it. And sharpness is sharp. Olympus lenses are sharp, but it's just the way they kind of gradually defocusing the area from the sharp to unsharp bit. It's just beautiful. You know, it's really nice. Not so much about the feather bokeh. The feather bokeh is just help to soften out the edges of the bokeh ball itself. But I'm just talking about general rendering is something that brings me back to the film days, which I'm all up for it. It's really, really good. And the colors is nice, definitely. And it's something that I always praise about Olympus lenses and cameras is their color science. And it's definitely on par with the top of the world. You know, Canon is obviously very known for the color science. And to me, after Canon will be Olympus. And no one else come close to colors. It's actually very, very, you know, I'm genuine talking about it. It's really nice. And you're saying the 100 macro would be really awesome. I know, you can see his profile photo, yeah, it's bugs. So like, you know, this guy's is taking macro stuff. And so yes, this would definitely excite a lot of macro photographers out there. People, you know, if you talk to a lot of the bug shooters, you know, a lot of the macro photographers, they could never get close enough. They always add extension tubes, but now you have a lens that will allow you to do that without extension tube, or you can still add extension tube, just got super, super close. That would be super exciting. I'm excited for you guys, you know, like, even though I don't shoot bugs, you know, but I'll get one for review and just want to see how crazy it is, and that would be really good. 60 is I have the 60 and the 30, and I love them both because they're portable, and I can use them for like portrait purposes and things like that. So these things would be kind of quite special, very different, but I will be waiting to see, you know, how close you can get. That would be something. And Mark also said dropping the premium makes sense, and I do think so. It's a little bit confusing because when you look at the thing is because they never really put the name premium on the lens, and so it's kind of weird that they name them premium lenses, but then it's not actually labeled on the physical lens barrel. So it's confusing for sure. People will think that, you know, oh, I got a premium lens, but oh no, it just looks like a normal lens. So now they're gonna consolidate the actual naming convention, so only have this M Draco for everything, and then the Pro will have the Pro badge, because all the Pro lenses have the Pro badge on the lens itself. So it's already very clear that they are the Pro lenses, even though that you know that all Pro lenses are metal built. So it's very one distinctive construction that they utilize, and also of course weatherproof. So this good. I think I like that. I like that move. And Hart loves that 8 to 25 as well. I think I do too. And I'll see how small it is. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot smaller, at least a lot smaller than the 2.8 version. That will be something to be excited about. Yes. And this Olympus new lens roadmap, and it will be JIP liquid roadmap, or will they be rationalize it? To be honest, I wouldn't know. But okay, let's put it that way. In the original announcement between JIP and Olympus, they said they are going to continue the roadmap. There you go. So now this is the roadmap. I think they're going to follow this roadmap until this roadmap's finished. Maybe then they will have a new roadmap. And you can just go back to the roadmap for once again. You can see that there's still a lot of stuff that is not actually listed there yet. For instance, another thing that really excites me is the bright prime lenses. When they say bright prime lenses, oh, this could be f1, another set of 1.2 lenses. You don't know, you know. You can see that the focal length is being covered around about 10 to 50. This would be exciting for me because you know, I'm a prime guy. I shoot prime lenses a lot because of my job. Not so much about subject separations and things, but I shoot a lot of low light, so I need the flexibility for my jobs. That's why I use the 17, the 25, 45, 1.2 like a lot. So this could really excite me because I want to see some even faster lenses if that happens, and also some different focal lengths that I can utilize. And this is something really really pumped me up a little bit. And it's really good that they finally released a show updated roadmaps, which really brings it well together with the JIP announcement, of course. So JIP will have to follow this roadmap based on the agreement, because that is something that they already developed and announced. So this is something that almost give you some sort of comfort, a reassurance from last week's news that, okay, we have these stuff actually developed and already researched. And this is something that in the agreement say that they're going to continue R&D, they're going to continue development and launches. So these three things alone means that this roadmap will be realized in the near future. So that could be in the next few years. So in that sense, I that's why I said I'm quite optimistic about the whole situation here. And in fact, now they consolidated a few things branding wise. They're going to do some restructuring, of course, and unfortunately that could mean some closures in some countries. That is loss making, but it's all good for the business ultimately if you think about that way. I always hate something closes. From the bottom of my heart, I know people will be affected by it, but if you're looking at the bigger picture, it will save the brand, save the technology, save the community, and I'm all up for it. This is something I would continue to provide support, to any photographer who use Micro Four Thirds and Olympus gears, or actually any photographer filmmaking content creators out there. I'm open for everybody who asks me any questions, but especially the Micro Four Thirds community, because I think this platform, this format is definitely deserve a place in the world, regardless. And like I mentioned so many times already, Micro Four Thirds has done so many good that people may not realize, especially from larger format or people who just got into photography, who had been listening to a lot of people talking about other formats, and they haven't really tried the Micro Four Thirds format because they are generally something to be proud of. Okay, let's see that. And boom, the video came out. Are you replying to me? Okay, right. Terry, good morning, Terry. Hello there. And do you think Olympus sent me the 150-400 Pro lens beta test? I wish they're gonna send me one too. And I know for a fact that this thing's gonna be super, super rare, and that's for sure. I would like to see a sample, and very soon. They announced it's going to be winter time, so I don't know when they're going to come into the UK for me to test one. We shall see. And of course, even if I test it, I won't be able to show you anything until the time comes. Okay. Chris, oh hello Chris, good morning there. It's just some rumors, not rumors actually, just actual genuine news release. So it's something really exciting, really exciting. After yesterday's stream, after last week's stream, people are a little bit more concerned about Olympus futures, and a lot of people already kind of considering it dead. I keep refusing to say it, and even though I personally know something, but I can't really say it, and that's really horrible for me, because I would like to share some news, but of course under the agreement, under the NDA, I would not be able to disclose anything. Yeah, but it's all good. It's all good. I'm happy. Right. I missed December in Europe. I still sweat like a pig. Yes, I you know what? Personally, I'm a more of winter guy, and I rather have put in thick jackets than actually have nothing to take off. I sweat like you as well, probably, I really sweat a lot. If I go to Hong Kong or anywhere in Asia during summer month, yeah, really, I would be soaking wet as soon as I come out. I really cannot live in places that is humid and hot and anything over 30 degrees. Even though I actually grew up in Hong Kong, too, that's a fact. I grew up in Hong Kong, but I can't really stand that heat anymore. I'm completely climatized in the West, and I prefer. Places like this, I can still wear long sleeve like today. Even though it's only 20 something, it's not 30. 30 would definitely not. I can't wear. I have to wear short sleeve. But Yeah, it's difficult. That's why I really love winters. I love winter in Europe, especially because it's not ultra cold. Especially in England. England is quite mild. The winter is quite mild, even though it's a little bit wet. But we all have weather seal gear, so who cares about the wetness in the UK? Okay, let's say a few hi to other people before I end the stream because I really start making my kids do some homework, and after that I'm going to prepare for my next stream on my YouTube channel. So if you want to follow on this conversation, you're very welcome to join me on my YouTube stream on Red 35 Photography. It's going to start at 1 p.m. today. And it's going to be similar things that I'm going to talk about like now, and with the roadmaps and new products and new software. It's only because that a lot of my YouTube followers are not on YouTube, so are not on Facebook following me here. So I just want to share the great news with them, and I'm just excited. You know, I don't usually do a sudden live stream or sudden video like this. It's just because it's exciting news. I just want to share it. Face to face, kind of, you know, like telling in person. It's just a happy news for me. I'm pretty sure that you guys are excited as well, and especially the new lenses, new products. I can tell you right now, there are more to come. Enough said. Okay, right. Okay then. Let's see that Peter. Hello there from Ooze. Ooh, hello. Keep up the positive stuff. Yes, excited about the macro lens. I am too, even though I'm not a macro photographer, but I'm definitely enjoying the new releases. The Freeze the 150 revealing the in the huge stage, break the ice, mount it on the M1X, and boom, just don't make the same mistake as Tesla. Well, you can throw a rock to the M1X. I'm pretty sure it will survive. You know, like the Tesla window didn't survive, but I'm pretty sure the M1X can, and I don't worry about it. It's a super rugged build a thing. But I know that, you know, even if I get the 150-400 for testing, and I don't think Olympus will actually allow me to do anything silly to it. You know, sometimes they actually allow me to, let's say, pour water into it and do some crazy tests just to make sure that, you know, what they claim is correct. But I'm pretty sure, because this is such a high value lens and also a rare lens, super rare, it's going to be very difficult. And eventually, if I do get this lens, I probably wouldn't do it to my own lens either, just because it's such a baby. You know, I'm gonna hug, like I said, I'm gonna hug this lens to bed for a week, and I'm not joking. I'm gonna send a picture to you guys when I have this lens. I'm gonna hugging it to bed, and oh, I just want this lens. I'm gonna show it to you guys one more time, and this saying is, baby, you're mine, you are my lens, come on, come home with me, please. Ooh. No, I'm done. I don't want to do anything embarrassing here now. So sorry, I better stop here. So thank you again for joining me in the live stream. And then once, I tell you again, 1 p.m. today on YouTube, I'm going to do another emergency news breaking YouTube content, which is based on exactly the same thing I talked about here today. And it's just exciting. I just cannot be more excited about this news. So rather than keep on repeating myself and baffling about things, and I'm going to end my stream here. So if you want to continue this conversation with me later on my YouTube, Red 35 Photography, that is, the link is in the description. Even if not, I'm very Googleable, so you can Google my name or Google Red 35 Photography. You will find on YouTube very, very easily. So go in there and put a notification, set reminder, you will know that exactly when I come on. And just join me there and continue the conversation, continue this exciting news, and celebrate. Let's celebrate. Yeah, I don't have any champagne at home, but I would have if I go and buy some. But no, I might just bring a coffee. Yeah, bring a coffee with you and join me live again at 1 p.m. today. Right, guys, super happy about seeing you guys, and very, very happy. I'm happy, just super happy. I kind of say more happy. Yep, happy shooting. Happy shooting. Right, see you guys all later, and new content again tomorrow, 11 a.m. BST. So if you want to come back to me, talk about something else tomorrow, remember where to find me. Right, see you later, guys. Bye for now.